let's just say, Jupiter is, Jupiter is a planet of luck. Jupiter is a planet of prosperity and things of that nature. Is going into Gemini in the year 2025. I'm so happy. But Jupiter is also the planet of culture. Jupiter is a planet of travel. If you think about the ninth house is ruled by travel, cultures, religion, higher life learning, optimism. So think about it. If you change your whole life, if you change your idea of life, if you change your thoughts and your perspective to life, your whole life can change. And that is Jupiter's main goal. This is why Jupiter is kind of the most powerful planet. Saturn has this power, the sun has this power, but Jupiter has this power when it comes to divinely being protected. You feel as though like life is actually guiding you somewhere. There is a God, there is something to have faith in. And that's where Jupiter is expressed well. When you have faith in that area of your life, when you explore that area of your life, when you have vision in that area, this is when you become the visionary. This is when you become the knowing. And so Jupiter stands for wisdom, right? Jupiter stands for us obtaining wisdom through the journeys of life, bad or good. See, these karmas can be expressed in grand and good ways, but they can also be seen as ways where it's too much, because Jupiter expands, it kind of makes information too much, wisdom too much. To know so much, what can you possibly do with it, right? And so that's why it's so important that wherever Jupiter is placed in your life, try to expand your knowledge on it. Try to explain the way that it needs to be created, right? And so Jupiter encourages us to go beyond the mundane life. And so that's what it is. Jupiter gets us to think bigger. And in the area of our life, sometimes it becomes difficult because how do you think bigger about something that you can't really physically change your perspective on? And Jupiter plays a huge part within our like mental makeup because Jupiter rules matter in ethers, in ethers. So we are magical beings. We are beings that manipulate matter, right? And so when it comes to manifestation, we are working with the planet Jupiter, but it is within our own makeup. It is what we tell ourselves and our belief systems. And so it's important that wherever Jupiter is, you are learning through the faith of spirituality. You are learning through the faith of having something outside of you, um, grander than you. You know what I'm saying? There is a God that believes in you. So, Jupiter is something like, but there's an understanding first that must happen within yourself. You must have faith that something wants to give you what you deserve, that something wants to give you blessings. And that's where the trick with Jupiter being expressed in these different signs and different placements, it has this, this little funkiness because Jupiter is, it's existing, it's evolution, it's the phoenix, the house of the higher self, the higher power, the higher knowledge. It is such a grand planet, and I love it because I had Jupiter in Sagittarius, so you know that I just love it. But also, it just makes you thirsty in that way. Jupiter is a planet of traveling, so constantly learning through travel. And see, the thing with Jupiter is like you actually don't have to go through the harshest lessons like Saturn. With Jupiter, they want to teach you. He wants to teach you this life of grandness, but sometimes it almost makes you restless because if you're not doing something that's grand or that can expand your consciousness, it's almost like you're not doing anything at all. So wherever Jupiter is placed, it's important to find the balance between the two, the push and pull, because you can't be happy all the time, right? We have to expand our knowledge to be happier. We have to expand our minds to be happier. And that's where Jupiter, comes in and really sends us that energy. He sends us that bigger than life perspective. You need to go in more depth of the things you don't know so that you can obtain wisdom and apply it to your life. The thing with Jupiter is like when you know better, you do better. And that's the thing. If you know better, if you have this belief system inside of your body and you're going against it, that is you going against Jupiter. How can it give you blessings? How can it give you luck? And so I do think that when we're working with Jupiter, it is good karma. Like I said, there is a flip side. It makes you a little bit thirsty on the other side because it expands. So there's so much. It's an overload. That's first of all, that's what I'm saying. There's an overload. But on the flip side, there is like this amazing part of you because you change your perspective. Everything around you change. Your body change. Your spirit change. This connection to the divine change. You as a phoenix have risen from all of these, I wouldn't say harsh things in life because Jupiter is not harsh things, but beautiful things can happen to me. That is the what you want to say when Jupiter, when you're understanding Jupiter. beautiful things happen to me because I dive into realms of imagination, into vision, into the unknown. So I can get, the vastness out of the unknown to get the things that I truly deserve and want. And see, with Jupiter, he wants you to know that you deserve and want these things. Actually, I would say that, well, Jupiter really doesn't care because it wants to. It's like something you actually don't have to work for. You know what I'm saying with Jupiter? But if you do have your Jupiter placed in hard aspects, it is something you have to work for because it's something that you have to get over the beliefs and the systems that you're telling yourself that don't work. Because when our bodies, right, are telling us we need to do more, you have to do more with your life, and the universe is showing us these things. Remember, Jupiter is the king of gods. Jupiter is a god in a way, right? So this god wants to grant you blessings in life. He wants to tell you that life is this beautiful, thing, and you can life is this beautiful thing, and you could be overly optimistic about life and still have, things happen in your life. Sometimes, with Jupiter, there is a level of over optimism, but it's best to be optimism about something. But especially if you know the placement, you know what you could be optimistic about. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you see the blessings. And we all want to be blessed and feel aligned, and that's what Jupiter is. There's this grand optimism. I just am so blessed to understand the the vastness of Jupiter, right? And what it's trying to teach us and learn us is really trying to. So I would say that Jupiter Karmas is really trying to teach us that life is a gift, and you deserve gifts. This is giving. You know what I'm saying? Giving and receiving is with Jupiter, with this bigger than life attitude. Change your perspective, change your life, man. Like Jupiter is like, there is this abundant flow of natural capabilities that you are belonging to. But if you never look, how do you know? If you never explore, how do you know? And the thing is with Jupiter too, wherever Jupiter is placed, as I said, Jupiter is a very, generosity planet, but it's this internal thing that shifts everything outside of you. It's an internal belief system that waves you to switch your perspective, and now you see things differently. And we really have to understand that if we dream big, we have to level up to this dream. And the thing with Jupiter, like people who are ruled by Jupiter and they have heavy, Jupiter play or heavy Sagittarius placements or things of that nature, or a lot of things, um, within the ninth house or something of that nature. These people have to understand their power. With great power comes responsibility. Almost like Jupiter gets swept away and wanting to give out all of these blessings and do good and have this abundant amount of spirit. But it's really important to understand your own makeup and your own belief system. We must stick to one. You know what I'm saying? And the thing with Jupiter, it changes its belief system because as it learns, it evolves, and it keeps evolving. And that's what it's supposed to do. And that's what you're supposed to do. But you always want to have faith. That is what I'm trying to say. It's always good to have faith because that is when the gifts come. And I'm not saying blind faith. I'm not saying pray. I'm saying more that, with Jupiter's influence, like I have this belief within inside of me. And even though the ninth house is our belief system, it is about knowing. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is with the Jupiter, it's just knowing without even learning, without even having to sit down in the classroom and learn it. And that's the best thing for everyone, right? Everyone, but like obtaining life's knowledge to make your life better is so grand. And that's what I believe that Jupiter really is for, but Jupiter also rules sound and vibrations. And so it's important for us to listen to music, right? Listen to music that makes you want to move and that makes you want to be a part of life. And so Jupiter is, it's a protector, it's a mentor. Like I said, it's having that Jupiter placement. It's almost like you have this angel and this spirit guide that protects you in this area of life. And it's important to understand how it's expressed. How do they protect you? What avenues are you going? Jupiter is that lucky star. It is luck. It is expansion. And like I said, wherever Jupiter is placed, that is the divine current that Jupiter is trying to pull in. Luck. What do you really want? And sometimes when Jupiter is not well placed and well aspected, we can still work with that type of energy, understanding that like too much of something is not good, right? And that's where Jupiter, like Jupiter, will give you too much of something. But I do feel like there is a cosmic like essence, that Jupiter brings that are leveled. Obviously, it is a cosmic essence, but it's almost like wisdom has a purpose, and wisdom has a purpose to change lives, and you don't have to go and sit inside of a classroom. But the ninth house is about, classrooms, it's writing, it's words, but it's philosophy, is spreading your philosophy about life, but one that's going to uplift the person and make them want to live life. And so Jupiter is about purpose. It's about noble purpose. The ninth house is about noble, is it no, is a noble house. It's about nobility. It's about traveling, seeing things, riches and things of that nature. And Jupiter's energy is so big, and sometimes it isn't even like I said, sometimes it's very subtle, but not, but when you're focusing on it, when you're really focusing on it, you'll see that you feel more grounded in life. Like you feel like life is inviting you back in. And so that's where I feel as though Jupiter needs to be used. Jupiter's guidance needs to be used for all of us, because in our life, we have to understand that, especially because Jupiter moves through a sign every 12 years, you know, that's when your Jupiter return comes. So when your Jupiter return comes, that's when Jupiter really wants to bring you blessings. But throughout life, Jupiter grants you blessings. Definitely, Jupiter is in Gemini right now. In the year of 2025, Jupiter is going to be going into Cancer, and so it's always important to look at your natal chart and how, like look at your natal Jupiter and the Jupiter placement and see if what type of aspects it's gonna have to it. It's important, because Jupiter is just that unshakable faith. And going into the year of 2025 and like even the years after that, we understand that this world is magical. Having the North Nodes in Pisces and Virgo, I'm so happy, because like we told you the world was magical. We told you that all this struggle and strife that we've experienced in life, it's like we've put our own selves in limitation. And understanding where Jupiter is, or me understanding where Jupiter is, start to understand that we're outer worldly, like we can learn more and be better and be more and hold ourselves up to a higher image and become that. And that's what Jupiter wants to expand for us. Like there's more than enough, you know what I'm saying? And the spiritual essence of you can always grow through your divinity, through your, connection to the universe, through you learning more, like I said, because the more that you learn, the more that you grow, the more wisdom you obtain, the more like benefits you have in wealth, in worth, in people, in places, and things, in yourself. You love yourself because you apply this knowledge to yourself. And Jupiter is the planet of goodwill and good fortune. And so, as I said, there is this magnificent magnet that comes with the planet Jupiter. And there's so many things to say about Jupiter. And I'm already at this 15 minutes. So I'm just going to say that this planet is about material wealth. This planet is about wisdom, wealth. Wherever this is placed, it's going to bring you wealth. And I just love the planet Jupiter. And I do feel as though when Jupiter like goes over your sun, or Jupiter goes over your moon, Mercury, I like Jupiter and Mercury. When Jupiter and Mercury are conjunct, I love that. Or when they're aspect or sextile in work, I love this, because there's this blend of energy of Mercury and in Jupiter, though it can be a little bit forceful, but it knows so much. Those are the type of people that you want to listen to about life, because even in hearing them, right there, life shifts. That's the thing. That's why Jupiter is the sound, because when you hear sounds and you hear people that want to live life, and you hear people that want to give you a life to live, and not that anyone can give you anything, but you accept it from the planet Jupiter. You accept the fact that you deserve love, prosperity, abundance, to feel lucky, to feel like there is an angel above you in this area of your life. That is the karma. Those are the flip sides of it, right? It's like you get too much of it, you're overly optimistic, you have the overload. But on the flip side, this is where you're blessed. This is where you feel more aligned. These are where your blessings, they line up a little bit more when you're understanding how the Jupiter, is transitioning and happening in, having effect on your natal chart as well. So I think that's what that's all I'm going to say about the planet Jupiter. But as I said, Jupiter is a planet of expansion, and it's very important for us to simply just live and be, when you were talking about Jupiter, because Jupiter is teaching us through living and being, or through voice, through writing, through words. There's just this, when you read it, your mind opens up. And so Jupiter is an expansion of the mind. Um, so that's all I have to say about Jupiter, and let's get started. Jupiter in Aries or Jupiter in the first house. When we look at Jupiter in Aries, we're looking at expansion, right? This is a house of the self. We're expanding ourselves. We're taking charge. And the karma with this sign, the positive part is that when they take charge in this life, they're going to get what they want. When they use their philosophy in life to get what they want, when they have a strong belief system, there's no way that these people will not obtain luck and prosperity in life. But on the flip side, we have this Aries aggression. We have this pushy demeanor. You can't force these ideas on other people. And so, with the Jupiter being in the first house, this person wants to expand. They're very expansive when it comes to career. When it comes to themselves, they can even be a larger person. Their approach to life is so grand, and they try their hardest to make everyone see that they can take strides to elevate their relationships, their lives, their career when they change their perspective. So Jupiter in Aries or Jupiter in the first house is actually a good placement because it brings good fortune no matter what. But just understanding that you cannot force your philosophy on others is the flip side of having a Jupiter in Aries karma. So let's move on to Jupiter in Taurus. Okay, so Jupiter in Taurus, right? So Jupiter in the second house as well. Jupiter and Taurus, this gives an abundant amount of patience, even funds, right? This is a house of self worth, this is a house of money, this is a house of resources, possessions. So, Jupiter in this second house, if you have that, of course, you get excited. Of course, if you get a consultation with me, I can see how you can work this placement. But Jupiter in the second house, like I said, it's a grand thing. There's an abundant amount of patience, money, resources. Things are just handed to you, right? You're protected in that way. You understand how to obtain resources. You even attract it in some type of way. There is always an enjoyment with food and, and places and senses and indulging of the senses and a taste for a large degree. But like I said, with Jupiter, there can be an overindulgence in him. So within the second house, there can be you wanting to spend money to feel even better, and that's the karma flip side. It's like I have it, I can spend it. And people who have Jupiter in the second house, they usually go to the lengths to feel good about themselves, and when they do this, this is when they feel good about themselves. So I feel like with Jupiter in the second house, enjoying life's little pleasures is the great karma that you get from having Jupiter in the second house or Jupiter in Taurus. You get to live a life of luxury when you choose to apply Jupiter's lessons and knowledge. There is a taste for luxury with the second house Jupiter placement or Jupiter within the Taurus house. And I just love this placement because it's just, there's extreme indulgence, right? But there can be extreme indulgence, like I said, on the level of too much, eating way too much, doing way too much. But then on the other side, there is this feeling good about yourself that you can do these things for yourself. And, other people struggle with that in life. So if you have Jupiter in Taurus, congratulations. Your love is just very grand too. Jupiter and Taurus has this love about them as well that's really it's really heartfelt towards their family, because Taurus is the host and the sign of family, love, and loyalty, and those things are just magnified for Jupiter and Taurus. So moving on to Jupiter and Gemini. Jupiter is in Gemini right now. In the year of 2025, Jupiter will be moving into Cancer. I can't wait. Let's talk about Jupiter and Gemini though, right? Because Jupiter and Gemini has its perks. Let's say the good karma about Jupiter and Gemini is that these people can obtain knowledge. They know way more than you know. And that's not even like, I'm just saying in the most nice, the nicest way. Like they have information that they don't even know that they have information. Jupiter and Gemini has taught me that there's always more to learn. You do not know enough. Sorry. there is always more to learn. There's always knowledge to obtain. There's so many ways to increase your skills. Jupiter and Gemini, these people have grand skills. They can increase their skills, increase their wealth. The way that they speak can be very charming and persuasive, you know. But the flip side of Jupiter in Gemini is that gossip, that gossy tongue. They're very gossipy. They can look to you as like not being smart enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you not smart enough? I'm smart. I know all these things. Why haven't you applied this knowledge? With Jupiter and Gemini, um there's a karma. You're the one that obtained this knowledge, or if you have the Jupiter and Gemini, you're the one who must share it to your siblings, because we're talking about the third house. You share it to your siblings, your neighbors, the people that are in your outside world. And I love this because I love this in that way, when you're sharing with the outside world, because you make them better, and what you see outside of your life, outside in your life and your perspective, everything changes, for you, and you change worlds. When you carry that curiosity and optimism that Jupiter in Gemini has. They are a wordsmith. They know how to put words, and these things are grand, and they know how to evolve socially, and these things are necessary in life, right? We have to know what we're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Jupiter and Gemini, I just feel like no secrets are safe. Like, nothing is off limits. Like, they can talk about any topic. With Jupiter and Gemini, they know of any topic. And so Jupiter in the third house, this is expanding your mind, your thought forms. It is expanding your means of communication. You understand people's minds a little bit more. Conversations that you're in, they need to make sense. Like, it needs to be a bigger than life attitude that we're talking about. It needs to be an attitude that we're allowing our minds to go to a different place. And so with Jupiter in the third house, there is really, these people must have knowledge in the side of their minds constantly. They need to learn constantly. These are the type of people that are always taking a class to learn more. And it's just never enough with Jupiter and Gemini. But the flip side of it is that you can expand your whole world when you start voicing the knowledge out to those who are around you, your brothers and sisters, evolving them up, your aunts and uncles, bringing them up, your neighbors, and things of that nature. And so moving to Jupiter in Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer. So Jupiter is going to be in Cancer in the year of 2025. This is beautiful. Oh my goodness. If you have Jupiter in Cancer, this is your Jupiter return. It took 12 years to get her baby, and you're about to be gifted and blessed. If you have Jupiter in Gemini, please comment down below. Like, your blessings are magnetized this year. And so let's just talk about Jupiter being in Gemini. Jupiter home planet or home sign is Sagittarius, right? But Jupiter's second sign that loves to be in is Cancer. It's a beautiful sign. It is exalted in Cancer. Here it is expressed so well. There is feeling deeply, more sentimental, more memories, more warm feelings about the home, about the family. Like Jupiter in the fourth house, Jupiter in Gemini, their their intuition is just something that is so divinely connected that it is never wrong. Their intuition, they have the gift of intuition. Jupiter in Cancer, this is your return. Like, their karmas are around their lineage. Their karmas are around their emotional maturity, their intimate, like emotions that they feel deeply. But the fourth house is a house of home and real estate. So on the flip side, like I said, this makes you feel so grand and good about yourself. These feelings are felt more deeply and passionately, and you're able to really like be adored. Let's just say that, be adored by the things that you know and share with your family. You have this, people look at you as someone who is sent from God in your family. They look to you for wisdom to learn. And Jupiter and Gemini is really a special place. And so when we have Jupiter in the fourth house, we think about our intuition, right? The intuition is never wrong. Our intuition is God. And Jupiter in this house, it's almost like, the fourth house is a house of our foundation. And this is aspecting the first house, the seventh house, and the 10th house. And so everything, when you have Jupiter in the fourth house, the more in tune that you feel with those around you, with those that are inside of your home, the more you can learn and expand yourself, through your relationships, through your own outview on life, your career path, you know, with Jupiter and Gemini, it's really such a beautiful thing because there's this opening of beauty within the emotional body. Our emotions are amplified, but they're also used, the good ones, to manifest and get the things that we want in life. And so that's why it's so important when Jupiter is in Gemini. Yeah, feel all those feelings, baby, because that's your, good karma. It feels good. Trust me, it feels good because you feel confident in yourself. You're happy for your family. You know that things are going to work out for your family. And think about it. This is a house of home, buying a family a house for your family. Jupiter in the fourth house, this can even be seen as they inherit something from their family. They have the ability to have multiple homes. They can move multiple times or visit these grand places and learn so much about language, about women, about what's needed in children. And, Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter in Cancer, as I said, is such a special thing, or Jupiter in the fourth house as well, because it does allow us, Jupiter in the fourth house, to look inward, because making decisions, sometimes emotions cloud our judgment. And Jupiter here is like, you are so divinely inspired by your intuition. You need to listen to your intuition always, because that's going to be your guide when Jupiter is in the fourth house, of what needs to be done in the home, of what you need to feel good about. Our emotions can fog up our perception. And so it's important for us to always get to the bottom of it. And that's what Jupiter brings out, getting to the bottom of it so that you can feel those good feelings, because that's what you're supposed to do in this lifetime. You're supposed to be proud of your ancestors. You're supposed to be proud of the mother, right? And when these things are made known and are possible, it's so easy with Jupiter in Gemini, or Jupiter in Cancer, or Jupiter within the fourth house, to reach spiritual or emotional maturity both at once. It's beautiful. And so moving on to um, Jupiter within Leo, Jupiter within the fifth house. Wow, if you have Jupiter within the fifth house, you better comment down below. And I know you want to, because you know what I'm about to say. Jupiter within the fifth house is so grand. Jupiter wants to be in this house. This is a house of blessings, fun, entertainment, where Jupiter does well. These people are the life of the party of life, the life of the party. They are the ones that understand that life is a big stage, and this is my show. Jupiter in Leo, or Jupiter within the fifth house, um, there is an expansion when it comes to lovers, when it comes to children, when it comes to your entrepreneurship, your businesses, your creativity. There's so many ways to express yourself when Jupiter is sitting within the fifth house, or Jupiter is in Leo. Most importantly, Jupiter within the fifth house. So, Jupiter, let me tell you about Jupiter within the fifth house. Jupiter within the fifth house, it's seen that this individual can express themselves in authentic ways, and ways that moves others' hearts, right? And ways that can reach many, ways that can go to the top. And this is why, Jupiter is known as fame, or the fifth house is known as fame, or where other people can see you, because this is where they can really see your heart. And Jupiter expands it and makes it bigger. So if you have Jupiter in Leo, or you have Jupiter within the fifth house, please, you must go onto social media. You must be seen, you must be heard. You must be seen, you must be heard, especially within the fifth house, especially if you have Jupiter in Leo. You must be heard. The flip side of this is, when you're not heard, there are attacks of, heartache. There are attacks of feeling lonely, feeling like you're misunderstood, feeling like you cannot express yourself authentically. But the good karma of this is that people want to hear you. They want to see you putting on that grand, stage. You're entertaining them, with Jupiter and Leo. And, when Jupiter and Leo doesn't feel that admiration, they can, as I said, go through attacks of feeling as though they are not worthy, they're not appreciative. Like, they're Jupiter within the fifth house, the reason why they're expressing themselves are to move people, or to get people to get up and want to live and want to go and want to have fun with life, right? And so Jupiter in the fifth house, they can have this overness about them, like over the topness about them. Like Jupiter and Leo, they want to do the grand plan. And what I mean by the grand plan, this is not just these little things like going up on stage. No, these people want to be on the big screen. Like they want to be the president, like, you know what I'm saying? But the entertaining president, like they want all eyes on them. Jupiter and Leo, sometimes it can feel a little bit selfish too. That's the flip side of it, because as I said, you know, you can't always feel good, or you can't always overindulge. People don't always admire you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not always a sense of fun, you know. But the good karma with Jupiter and Gemini, it's once you express this, like, you know, this energy of Jupiter in Leo or Jupiter within your fifth house, you get so much attention and monies, because the fifth house is a house of gains and dharma. Jupiter being in the fifth house, this is a house of dharma, you know, passion. But as I said, it's really important to hold on to all that selfish energy, because then you make everything about you, because that is very Leo. I am, you know, I am beautiful, I am confident, I am courageous. But you have to remember to tell yourself that with Jupiter is in Leo, there is almost this need to be seen. That's how you need to be seen in order to really feel that those blessings and alignment. There are so many blessings in alignment if you have Jupiter within the fifth house or Jupiter within Leo, because the sun, you know, like they want, not the sun, but the fifth house in Jupiter, it's gifts. It wants to give you the gift of fun, you know, and the gift of the full scope to things, you know, the bigger perspective. And Leo wants to do it, and so it's motivating us to the through the heart to commit to fun. And so that's Jupiter in Leo and Jupiter within the fifth house. And so Jupiter in Virgo or Jupiter within the sixth house, this, well, I would say that Jupiter doesn't like to be in Virgo. Why? Because Virgo is about responsibility, it's about health too. You know, the sixth house is about health, it's about duty, it's about serving others. And it's nice to have responsibilities, but too much responsibilities, Jupiter doesn't understand that language, because he wants to give gifts. And so if you have Jupiter within Virgo, there's almost a sense that in this life, you have to look at it bigger. You have to look at life on a larger scale, not just how I can help myself or how I'm doing these things for myself, but how I can expand it, you know, to make it into a bigger version of me. When the good thing about Jupiter being in a Virgo, actually the most positive thing, the karma of Jupiter in Virgo, is to teach them that once they invite life in with a helping hand, like allowing others to help them, you know, understand more about what's going on in life, allowing them to be the best version of themselves, you know, letting them feel Jupiter and Virgo, it's like you helping the world, yes, be the best version of themselves so that you can be the best version of yourself. You know, Jupiter and Gemini is like allowing you to center your energy on helping others and being the best version of yourself so that you can be the best version for them, or the same thing vice versa. But there is these alignments and blessings that Jupiter and Virgo have. They see that when they reach out to the world is gonna reach out to Virgo, the Jupiter and Virgo person, because the Virgo is the sign of health. The sixth house is the vital house. It's like the heart, you know, of the chart, because it is so vital. You know, it's our day to day activity. It's our day to day life. We cannot fill our lives with day to day duties all the time, right? But when we understand that when we are on duty, we are telling other people to be the best version of themselves, take care of your health, take care of yourself. We're doing our Virgo due diligence, right? We're focusing on how we can make others better. And when that happens, they make you better. They have offerings for you. They offer you more. You have more offerings for your day-to-day tasks, you know. Let's say you don't have a pencil. Now everybody is willing to give you a pencil just because you told them you didn't have a pencil. You see, asking for the help because you're gonna get it. So Jupiter within the sixth house, is this is a house of health. So as I said, you know, there these, on the flip side, they can experience, you know, the sixth house Jupiter, the good karma about this is there's so many different opportunities to get any health problems that you have fixed, right? The other flip side is that whatever health problems that you do address, they come up very quickly. It's very urgent, and you know that there's something that needs to be addressed. But there are so many options to make these things happen. There are so many options to cure whatever needs to be cured because the health is very vital to us, right? And that's what Jupiter in the sixth house is telling us. There's so many things that can go wrong with the body, but there are so many things that you can do to your health that involves traveling, culture, and different scenery that can heal your body, right? Jupiter in Virgo, like, it's really understanding that Virgo is a sign of health, and there are so many avenues to heal your health. There's so many avenues: holistic health, medical health. They got hospitals, they got all healing centers and chapels. There's so many ways to go. The holistic approach is my favorite approach, right? Nature is me, and I am nature. However, that is what Jupiter will say in Gemini too. Jupiter in the sixth house. But Jupiter in sixth house, there can be more duties for you on a day-to-day basis. There's more. You have to take more time to be caring of yourself when you have Jupiter within Virgo or Jupiter within the sixth house. But as I said, if you have Jupiter within the sixth house, as soon as you reach out, baby, everyone is going to reach out back to you because you're trying to help them be the best version of themselves, and they see that in you, and they love that, because who wouldn't want someone telling them that they could be better, right? And that's what Virgo does. And so, moving on to Jupiter within the seventh house and Jupiter within Leo. So, Jupiter in the seventh house or Jupiter in Leo, this is a this is a person who has a lot of karma, good karma and bad karma when it comes to dating. The good thing about Jupiter and Libra, when they get into a unionship, everything is grand. They go to many places with the person. You know, they're finding someone who is the same like as them as far as following philosophy, emotional health and being intellectual, talking about wisdom, and that's where the song and dance comes from Jupiter in Libra or Jupiter in the seventh house, because Jupiter in the seventh house, like, the relationship can teach you so much about life, bad or good. If it was a bad or good relationship, and see, that's the thing, that's on the flip side. No matter what type of experience that you have with Jupiter in the seventh house, and we're talking about Libra, so we're weighing out the scales, it always is going to work in your favor. You're not losing anything. And that's the beautiful thing. You're actually learning and gaining through the gifts of life or the gifts of other people. And you have Jupiter within the seventh house. You can meet people who are gurus that teach you stuff. They know more than you, so they teach more than you. You have this ability to attract people that you desire, that are like mind. And so people have Jupiter in Libra, they are able to attract people that are like them, that they want to talk about life with these people, you know? And so it's easier for them to be on that wavelength, with Jupiter and Libra, you know? They have this strong desire for the peace of mind, so however much they have to learn, however much they have to talk about, whatever conversations they must be in, places they must go, people and places they must reach, Jupiter and Libra feels as though they can reach and they can talk to these people. Jupiter in the Libra or Jupiter in the seventh house, these are individuals that are extremely, persuasive, because they're calm. They're able to find common ground with others. They're able to understand others and give them what they want, and they know what they want to say, right? They know what they need to hear. That's what I'm saying. They know what they need to hear, and they know how to listen to. With Jupiter within within Libra, but we also want to be careful, because this placement can also lead us to be very preachy in relationships. People who have Jupiter in the seventh house, you could be very preachy within your relationships, wanting your philosophy to be the only philosophy. That's the flip side of having Jupiter in the seventh house. But I feel as though that's only at your beginning stages of your relationship. Because as you grow older and you evolve, because they're talking about Jupiter, so it's evolving and learning. As you evolve and learning, this turns into luck. This turns into, now I'm actually attracting the people that I want. Godly. And this is a beautiful placement. And I do like the Jupiter in the seventh house and Jupiter within Libra. Okay, so it's really important if you have Jupiter within Libra or Jupiter within the seventh house that you be mindful of the lessons that life is trying to teach you, or the lessons are in other people. The beauty comes from other people. Okay, with Libra in Gemini, with Jupiter in Gemini, or Jupiter within the seventh house. Okay, so let's move on to Scorpio, Jupiter in Scorpio, or Jupiter within the eighth house. So we talk about Jupiter in the eighth house, or we talk about Jupiter in Scorpio. Let's talk about Jupiter in Scorpio first. Jupiter in Scorpio, these are individuals who take pride, not even pride, they have this soulfulness about them, like that makes them want to know what is beyond the surface. And because we're talking about the eighth house, we're talking about going beyond the surface, right? But the ninth house is the journey through life. So it's almost like these lessons that they learn sometimes is challenging to change, you know, to listen to that gut, because there is in the eighth house or in Scorpio, there's a level of pain that Scorpio has because of everything that it has been through. So where is this lesson? Where is this goodness in it, right? And so it's hard for people with Jupiter and Scorpio, people and Jupiter within the eighth house, to see the blessings. The blessings is that you can go beyond the surface and go to the depths, learn more, dwell in wisdom, dwell in your divinity, calculate your assessments, recalculate yourself up, rise back up. And through the process of you rising back up, everything evolves with you, your bank account, your spirit, because the eighth house is a house of shared money. And so when you learn to dive in deep into yourself and to your philosophies, into your psychological makeup, you can alleviate this challenge of the mind and the spirit. Okay. And so Jupiter within Scorpio, though, they have they have a really good gut, but it's like I said, it's just sometimes difficult for them to listen, not listen, them to understand this, because there is this psychological thought that is pressing against the spirit, the lesson of joy. And so like I said, we're in pain, we can't really see the joy. And so it's important for us to know our placement, to study to study Jupiter and study the birth chart. But Jupiter in Scorpio actually has the honestly one of my in my opinion has the best karmas. Like, you have the ability to go beyond the surface and go to the depths of freaking hell. And no one wants to do this, but you're protected in doing this because you have Jupiter in the eighth house. You're protected, everything is calculated for you. It's just you taking that journey. And that's what it's hard to decide to take the journey into the unknown. And that's where the faith comes in with Jupiter and Scorpio. And it's the best thing, because once you jump in, oh my god, it's ridiculous. Like, not ridiculous, it's just this beautiful thing. You dive into death. People with Jupiter in the eighth house, they dive into death, what it truly means to die, be reborn, and die again. Why are we alive? What is this? What are these veins? And what is this idea about life? And what is being hidden? You know, and also, this is a house of occult knowledge and sciences. And having Jupiter here makes you interested in all of those things. And so by you going to learn all of those things, they become your teacher, your guide. You're lucky, you know? This is where you're lucky. This is where you have that understanding. And now, like I said, your shared resources and your bank account goes up, you know? There is a significant reward when you have Jupiter in Scorpio or Jupiter within the eighth house. And that's why I said I love it, because there's a flip side. Sometimes you can't see it. Most importantly, in the beginning stages of life, you cannot see it if you have not lived life yet. But once you start living life, you start understanding that, okay, once I dive into my occult knowledges, I'm rewarded significantly, and you're protected by it. That's the grand thing about this. You I'm telling you, if you have Jupiter within the eighth house, or if you have Jupiter in Scorpio, it is essential for you to go beyond your limits. Oh, go beyond what you think you know right now and go study more and learn up that knowledge, science, occult knowledge, occult stories, conspiracies, and all of these people that have died and untold mysteries and things. Yes, these things can be obsessive too, because Jupiter in this house can get a little bit obsessive over this. But like I said, studying this is going to exceed your expectations. Like, you're gonna find out so much that, like I said, your spirit is just awakened to your divinity, to your divine being. And moving into the ninth house, right? Because Jupiter is ruling over the ninth house and Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Jupiter loves being in this house. Jupiter in Sagittarius, these are individuals who are very intelligent. They came with wisdom from past lives, because we're talking about the ninth house, right? The ninth house is systems, your belief systems, dharma, luck, prosperity. It is the house of word speaking, the guru, the God. And they have come, Jupiter in the ninth house or Jupiter in the Sagittarius, with great karma, and as far as wisdom, that's what it is. As far as wisdom, a lot of wisdom to spread, a lot of wisdom that the realm needs to hear in their time of awakening, right? There's no bound that can restrain the Jupiter in Sagittarius. Is boundless, right? This is its home sign. It wants to be in there. It can always express itself well, the Jupiter in Sagittarius is always seeking a philosophy. They're always seeking to broaden their way of life. They're always seeking to, like, expand their energy, to expand their mind, body, and soul. I say this because I'm Jupiter and Gemini, and I'm Jupiter. Did I say Jupiter and Gemini? I keep saying both of them, even though they're opposite of each other. Jupiter and Gemini, but Jupiter and Sagittarius is much, different. It's almost this, like I said, um, this good karma from the last lifetime of wisdom that they actually don't have to go out and study. It is just they have to live life and they obtain it. And so that's the great thing about this Jupiter in Sagittarius. Telling you a little bit about my experience is that when you go to different places with Jupiter and Sagittarius, you pick up information very quickly. You understand life right in that moment. It's almost scary and powerful at the same time, but it's a very internal thing, and it's something that you must seek always. Logic and truth, right? If you have Jupiter in Sagittarius, or Jupiter within the ninth house, you're always seeking truth and logic and knowing and understanding of stuff. But there's always this debate, though, right? You're debating with others in matters and trying to expand your knowledge and your horizons. But Jupiter in Sagittarius can be very preachy, wanting to preach, because ninth house is a house of preaching too. So it's a wanting to preach is philosophy, wanting to change lives, wanting to expand, and like I said, broaden its horizon. But Jupiter in Sagittarius is fun. They're very fun. They're very positive. They have a good sense of humor too. And so, the great karma, as I said, with Jupiter in Sagittarius, is that they have come with wisdom from the last lifetime. The negative side of the karma is that they cannot force this information on others. If someone wants to hear knowledge, they will hear. And that's what it is with the Jupiter and Gemini, Jupiter within the ninth house. Jupiter within the ninth house, this is someone who has the ability to travel to many places, learn many different languages, meet many different people. Even meeting people can change your life significantly. It's almost like conversation, talking to someone, or being or interacting with someone will shift your perspective right there. There's this profound understanding that comes when Jupiter is in the ninth house. When we get an awakening or a self awakening, I'm not sure how you feel, but I almost feel like, wow, like, how did I not know that? But it's almost like I did know it. It's like I already knew, like. So what I'm saying is, when Jupiter's in the ninth house, there is almost like this information is inside of you. It is a code that is unlocked within you, And so it's important, if you have Jupiter within the ninth house, to travel, to learn more, to move. You have to move. And even if it comes to just expanding your mind, even if it comes to just books and writing. And if you have Jupiter within the ninth house, I'm definitely going to need you to write a book. You're going to have to write a book telling us about your life experience, because the lessons that Jupiter in Sagittarius or Jupiter in the ninth house has can change lives. And that's so powerful. So let's move to Jupiter in Capricorn or Jupiter within the 11th house, within the 10th house, excuse me. So Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. So there is a need for self-discipline, right? There is a need of um to obtain success, right? To be, well, when we're talking about Capricorn, we're talking about a sign that wants to reach success, but they believe that they should reach success through the means of hard work, due diligence, and staying on task. Jupiter believes that we should live life, we should be free, and that's how we learn. So, with Jupiter in Cancer, I mean, Jupiter in Capricorn, their good karma is that these people can expand their image, right? Jupiter in the 10th house, everyone knows you, right? Everyone can see you, you know what I'm saying? And you're seen as this authoritative figure, you're seen as this boss. People who have Jupiter in the 10th house are seen as the boss. People have Jupiter in Capricorn, they have very, very creative minds, but sometimes it creates limits because, as I said, we all have these Jupiter, we have these desires, we have all of this, but like Capricorn likes to keep those things to themselves. They don't want to be openly emotional. And, Jupiter is wanting you to be openly like, happy about your desires, wanting you to be happy. I just think the need for like composure is very intense for the Jupiter in Capricorn, because they want to, you know, they want to reach their desires. They want to do the things that are inside of their head or what God is telling them to do. But it's almost like they have to get through even with, we're talking about the 10th house, they have to get over the fact that um everything doesn't need caution. But I say that, well, definitely for this placement, everything doesn't need caution, and that everything doesn't need to feel limited. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about like Saturn, and those two coming together, as I said, they're gonna make your dreams possible. They're gonna make this career possible for you. You're gonna be blessed in career, but also it gives you this other side to you where you're like, I gotta accomplish something, I gotta be successful. And Jupiter wants you to just go just go with the flow. And so that's a great thing about this placement. Jupiter within Cancer, within Capricorn, or Jupiter within the 10th house, they are going to reach success in their life. And that's the good karma. They know that they have a life path and they want to follow in this life path, right? But as I said, if you have Jupiter in Cancer, sometimes there is this push and pull with wanting to do things in a cautious way. However, Jupiter just wants you to instantly feel gratification, to instantly feel happy. So it is about adjusting your attitude sometimes, right? Jupiter in Capricorn, because you have the ability to succeed at so many things, right? Many, many different things, but romanticize them. Be happy for them. Don't see this destination, see the journey, and you're going to see all of the blessings for you. How everyone just looks at you. You're like you're the boss, and they hold you up to this high standard. Now you're sitting on the throne, right? If you have Jupiter in Capricorn. So let's move to Jupiter in Aquarius and Jupiter within the 11th house. So Jupiter in Aquarius, I feel as though, wow, this can be a bright type of energy, because Jupiter is a philosophy, and the 11th house in Aquarius is the futuristic events, right? The prophecies that we will fulfill. It is the future, and it can be bright, right? Our future is bright. And so with this karma, there is a level of because like I said, this is a house of long-term goals, but it's also the house of humanitarian issues and things of that nature. And so of course Jupiter wants to solve them if it can. let's preach. Let's preach, let's convince, they'll listen. And so Jupiter in, in Aquarius is like, let's convince everyone, they're gonna listen. And Aquarius is already a sign that has a vision. And so Jupiter in Aquarius, Jupiter in the 11th house, has this vision for the future, and they want to fulfill that vision. And sometimes it can feel, like they have to make these advances, whether it's technological, whether it's having to get along with other people, but Jupiter and Aquarius, they can make so many friends around them, they can complete so many things. And when it comes to like the long-term gifts and long-term travels, that is a good karma for them, because they're able to meet people along their path that they becomes friends with, that invite them to different places and different areas of life. What I mean that is like through traveling and things of that nature, because 11th house can be seen as long distance travel as well. And you put Jupiter in here, it wants you to tell the world about these advances if you have Jupiter in Aquarius. And I feel as though with this aspect, this can also come up as you having to help the world. Jupiter in the 11th house, that's almost like that is the blessing. That's when you find your blessings, when you are helping in some way. Definitely, check for the sign in the house. But if it's an Aquarius, you are going to help, and especially when it comes to making advancement on technology, you naturally have the gift to just know. People have to go to school for that. If you have a Jupiter in Aquarius, I'm just kidding, but there is this futuristic mind to Jupiter in Aquarius. It's so fascinating, in that way, and they get very preachy too. And so it's important for the Jupiter and Aquarius to also be open to other people's ideas, especially if they are the ones that's working with you. If you have Jupiter and Aquarius, you are able to make so many friends. Like I said, can take you to so many top places. But if you have Jupiter within the 11th house, you have to understand that by you helping the world, that is when the world opens up and helps you. And we have to understand that you have to understand that you have a lot of knowledge to share with the world, and in doing so you will reap the wishes and goals that you want and you desire, because this is a house of wishes, this is a house of goals, but only through authentic help of the world. Okay. And so let's just move to the last one, Jupiter in Pisces. If you have Jupiter in Pisces, please comment down below, because I don't know why. Just I'm like, this Jupiter in Pisces is so beautiful. It's a beautiful sign. So whoever has Jupiter in Pisces, please let me know about that placement and how does it express in your life. And so this is the way I've seen Jupiter in Pisces expressed, and the good karma about Jupiter in Pisces, that is in its home traditional sign. So it's expressed well, right? And then you think about Jupiter in Cancer is expressed well. So Jupiter in Pisces is another water sign. So there should be some type of flow to it. And I just think that this is because this is the traditional ruler, it's at home and it's magic and this mystical nature of Jupiter. And Jupiter is powers, well, Pisces powers to heal, to create, and Jupiter's powers to make these things possible with vision and creativity and image, and literally, like the mystical realm. Even different cultures can teach you a lot. Pisces, the sign of Pisces can be, a preacher, a priest, and people talk about God all the time because they are in direct connection to God. Okay, people who have Jupiter in Pisces, they're in direct connection to God, and they have to get in direct connection to God to reach any type of enlightenment. It is so vital for them to spend time alone doing things that express their creativity. It is definitely best to just go with the flow, yes, but always do practices such as meditation, anything that you have to take time to clear your mind from and attune to the teachings of life. You need time to process a lot of thoughts that happen with Jupiter and Pisces. It's almost like with these people, they're constantly jumping back and forth, to their master, which is the ethers, which is like the divine, but to this physical realm too, to be able to how do you say it, like alliterate this these teachings that they're learning. It's difficult to put into words, right? What you learn when you're sleeping, or what you learn from looking at a dark photo or something like that, you know. So Jupiter in Pisces is, like I said, is so expressed well. It's like the possibilities are endless with this sign. And the great thing about it is they have direct connection to God when they choose to do this. And the bad thing about it, or the negative thing about it, is, like I said, when you're not, because Pisces is a sign of the hidden, you know, it is a sign of confusion as well. Think about it. It's like what's hidden to you, because they're talking about the 12th house, Jupiter being in the 12th house. But there's not what's hidden to you, when you finally awaken it, it's like you have this angel above your head. And Jupiter within the 12th house is very protected in that way, but it's expressed subtly, you know. It's like you go around life and you're like, how in the world did I just get away with that, or how in the world did I just survive something like that? Like there's had to have been something protecting me. Jupiter in the 12th house, yes, you're naturally protected. That is a beautiful thing, right? And through the means of a lot of things, we're talking about Pisces, they can do so many different things, and so you have so many different skills and abilities, and can sing and dance and excuse me, they're really a jack of all trades, you know, because they're in direct connection to God. God is love, right? And so Jupiter within the 12th house, no matter what, you have to always use your imagination, right? And using your imagination with real spiritual practices, you know, Reiki, meditation, energy moving, you know, writing, doing things you're good at, you know, poetry, you know, any type of expression of the emotions. Jupiter will do well, you know, through this sign, and helping you understand how protected you are. You know, having Jupiter in Pisces is almost like you're an elder living a human life. That sucks, like, nah. But it's almost like you have a lot of knowledge, right? But you're in this little life with these little people. Like what? They want to live here. They don't understand that we came from this magnificent place. I want to get back over there, where, you know, there's nothing but imagination. I can be whatever I say. But remember, Jupiter in this life wants you to understand you can be whatever you want in this life too. And it's all up to you. So Jupiter within the 12th house, it's really all up to you, you know? But like I said, it's very hidden. It's very subtle. You actually have to go inward to find it, because 12th house is definitely not going to be found outside of you. It's not one of those karmas where you go around and you meet people. It could be like that too, you know, because you can attract people who want you to travel with them, and now you're on this big journey doing that. Like this is a great placement, actually, you know. You're always protected in some way with Jupiter within the 12th house. It's important for you to learn certain subjects. But on the flip side, if we're talking real, you know, there is this level of overindulgence. There is this level of, if you know this person gets confused, they can just want to run away and step back, because in their world life is magical, seriously. And any type of harshness or drop of a dime, they don't want anything to do with this, you know. And it's like I said, it's giving that to your ancestors, because this is the house of this is the 12th house of the ancestors, bearing that to the ancestors, because they give you the best karma with Jupiter. And so that's all I have for all of the signs through all of the houses for the Jupiter karmas. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you definitely understand what I was saying, and it makes sense to you, right? And you use it as a place of empowerment. So I will see you guys in the next video. If you're new to my channel, hey, I'm so happy to meet you. It's so nice to meet you. That's what I was gonna say, but I'm so happy to meet you. I am Goddess, or Cody, and I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. So if you can like, subscribe, or send it to someone, that will be great, and that will help me a lot. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.